is it 5 o'clock?
Are you going on?
It's after, I'm sure, right?
5:05.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. All right. Well, I did miss you guys last week, so if you were able to join us, if you're able to join us, thank you for doing that. And I know there was a lot of buffering and things like that, but we tried, right? We tried.
I didn't have any buffering.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was actually really smooth.
Excellent. All right, so our yoga, as always, brought to us by Mercy Health Stepping Out program. We're gonna go ahead and start by just finding our breath. And as we do this, we just try to clear our minds, bring our awareness to the present. Let go of all of the worries, the stressors, our to-do lists. Pressing both palms together at our heart center. We'll let our chin bow to our chest and set our intention for our practice here today. Think about what you hope to get out of your time on the mat, or why you came here tonight. Releasing our hands down to our knees, we'll lift our heads back up, our back nice and straight, shoulders relaxed. And we'll begin making gentle circles with our rib cage. Try to imagine drawing a circle on your mat. We'll go in the opposite direction as we go towards the back, exhaling, moving towards the front, our inhale. And finding stillness in the center. Our hands are going to come up back behind our head gently. And we'll open our shoulders, our elbows wide with an inhale. And as we exhale, we'll let them touch in the front. Inhale. Exhale. Continue with your breath. 2 more. And last one. Coming back, neutral with our elbows wide. We're gonna let our right elbow come down towards the right hip, keeping our shoulders nice and stacked. Keep that Left elbow open, feeling that stretch in our left side. And we're gonna let the left elbow come down, and we're gonna make a circle here and come back up. Right elbows to the ceiling. And come back up through center. And we're gonna continue with circles here. So over towards the right, come down in the front. And that's our second. We'll do 5. Try to really reach forward. And our last one. A neutral spot. We're going to go in the opposite direction. Find that circle. Keep our elbows open wide. Last one. We'll inhale our hands out, bring them up. And as we release, the left hand will come to our right knee, go into a gentle spinal twist, looking over that right shoulder. Keep that left hand on the right knee, but our right hand is going to reach out and over. Make sure both sits bones stay anchored on the earth. As we sit up nice and tall, that right hand will come to our left knee, so we have our arms crossed in front of us. And you're going to gently fold forward. Moving back up to a seated position. We're going to switch which foot is in front. We'll inhale our hands up. As we exhale, the right hand will come to the left knee, left hand is behind us, and look over our left shoulder. Right hand will stay on that knee, our left hand will reach out and over. Sitting up, left hand will come to our right knee and gently fold forward once more. Rolling back up to a seated position, we'll extend that right leg out. Left hand reaches up and over. Shoulders stay stacked, Think about lengthening. And as we sit back up, that left hand will come to the earth, planting so that we can roll up onto our base leg here, our left knee. And we're gonna reach up and over with the right arm. Now, if you can, if you have the balance, go ahead and see if you can lift our leg. Good job. Let it back down on the earth, and we'll sit all the way back down. We'll draw that right leg in and extend the left one out. Right hand up and over. Sitting up nice and tall, plant our right hand, rolling up onto that knee. The left hand reaches up and over. Either stay here for this good balance and strength, or if you want to try to lift that left leg. Release back down to your mat and come to a seated position. We're going to bring both legs out in front of us into a staff pose, sitting nice and tall. You can support yourself to make sure our back is straight. We're going to flex those toes. We're going to flex them so much that our heels pull off of the earth. And then we're going to relax our legs, relax our back, and we're going to keep trying to remember to pull forward, don't just crush down. We're going to keep reaching, lengthening as we relax towards our legs into a forward fold. Back is relaxed, neck is loose, and our head just gets heavy, so our upper body is like a rag doll. With each exhale, try to just relax into the stretch more and let gravity do the stretching for you. As we sit up, we're going to draw that left leg in and we're going to hug it into our chest. Keep our backs nice and straight. And then we're going to rock the baby. So gently take that foot in your hand and the knee goes into the crook of our elbow. You can do this, and we're just trying to get some movement into our hip socket here. If you can go a little bit further, see if you can get that leg up there. But you don't want to get your body out of whack. If you find yourself doing that, just go back to putting it in your hand so that you don't hurt yourself or do bad things to your body there. So make sure you can stay in alignment if you want to take it to the next step. And hug it back into our chest, and we'll release it forward, gently folding forward into our stretch. No pulling or bouncing here, we're just relaxed. Roll back up, pulling the right leg in with us this time. Hug it in. Straight back. can rock the baby on this side. Same thing, start with it just in the hand, see how that feels. If you're not feeling too much, or if you need a little bit more, see if you can get the foot all the way into the crook of your elbow, and the knee in the opposite one. As we release this foot down, we'll pull the other leg in. Our legs are going to be a little bit apart here. And we're going to start by doing our windshield wipers. See if you can release your windshield wiper all the way down. Come through to the other side. All the way down. We've been working on our hip flexibility a lot. We're gonna try to see if we can do this eventually sitting up nice and tall. So if you wanna even try that tonight, you can. Anybody else scooching across their mat? All right, find our stillness. Scooch back to your mat. And we're gonna go ahead into our tabletop position, all fours. So make sure that your knees are in alignment with your hip, that they're hip distance apart, that your wrists are in line with your shoulders. Keep your fingers splayed open, wide. That helps take some of the pressure off of your wrist. Push out of your shoulders at all times. And keep your tummy pulled in. It helps with our balance, protects our spine. And we'll start with our cat-cow breathing. As you inhale, we drop our belly, looking forward into our cow pose. Don't sink into your shoulders just because we're doing this. Keep our shoulders active. And then we're gonna tuck everything in for our cat. As we exhale, empty out those lungs. And you just go back and forth between these two breaths. I like for you to do it at your own pace. And if you notice you have a little bit of aches and pains that you wanna spend some extra time on, go ahead and do that. This last set, we can all meet into a neutral spine. Toes will touch, knees as wide as your mat, and let your hips sink back to your heels. Stretch those hands forward before we let our forehead sink to the mat. Into an active child's pose. If you want to give your head a little rock back and forth, massaging a little bit. Now, if this is too much on your shoulders, you can always pull those arms in and rest your head on your hands, or maybe even on your fists if you need it even a little higher. Whatever feels good for you tonight. We're going to roll back up to our tabletop position. Keep those knees wide. We'll plant that left hand. Let the right hand reach up to the sky into a nice twist. right hand is going to thread the needle under the left, resting on your right shoulder. And at first, our left hand can go to the top of your mat. And if you want to do a bind, you can take that left hand and reach all the way around your back. See if you can grab the inside of that right thigh, opening up that shoulder. Release your bind, push back up to our tabletop. And this time our right hand will stay planted. Our left hand is going to reach up to the sky in our spinal twist. Now try to think about the hands reaching as far apart from each other as possible, getting length in between your wingspan here. And our left hand is going to thread the needle under our right arm, resting on our left shoulder. The right hand will reach to the top of the mat as our left cheek comes to the mat. And if you want to do the bind, you're more than welcome, or you can stay right here. And once again, that bind, that right arm will reach all the way around. See if it can grab the inside of that left thigh, opening your shoulders up. Release your bind, pushing back up to your tabletop. We'll straighten our knees so they're once again in alignment. And we're going to lower down to your mat. You can roll down, it doesn't matter, but do keep your elbows pressed into your body just so that you can start practicing doing that. We'll push up to a cobra so our hands are underneath. Our shoulders, our elbows are pressed in, our shoulders are back, and we're going to inhale as we press up. And you can just do a little bit of stretching here. See what feels good, what your back is comfortable with. If you feel your back starting to crunch and just sort of collapse, you're up a little too high, you want to make sure you can still lengthen the back the whole time. And go ahead and exhale, back down. We're going to bring our right hand out to the mat beside us. And we're going to walk those fingertips out further, further, further. And as we do this, we're going to roll onto our right side. You can support yourself with this left hand. And even that left leg can be supporting you in front as we get some more shoulder opening exercises here. And releasing, we'll come back to our tummies. And the left hand will reach out. Walk those fingers as you roll onto your left side. And release. As we draw our hands back down below our shoulders, we're going to press first through a tabletop, tucking those toes, and we're going to press our hips up to the ceiling in a downward facing dog. Go ahead and press one heel in at a time, walking that dog out. as you realign your upper body here. So our fingers are still nice and spread. Our shoulders are active. We're looking in between our feet, so our ears can be touching our arms here. As we press those heels towards the mat, our legs start to straighten. And you can give your pelvis a little tilt forward to get that upside down V without hyperextending the back. And we'll take little baby steps to bring our feet up to our hands. Our knees can be gently bent here, resting our chest on our thighs. As we come into a relaxed forward fold, think about when we were on the earth and we were trying to be a rag doll with our upper body. We're gonna do that again. So you have some options here. You can just keep your hands here to support yourself, or you can grab your opposite elbows. You can give yourself a little sway. Or you can tuck with your palms facing up, your hands underneath your feet into our gorilla pose. Make sure your balance is really solid today if you're going to do that one though. And wherever you are, go ahead and release your hands so everybody's facing, our hands are on our mat. Deeply bend our knees as we start to roll up, thinking of one vertebrae at a time. Everything else is still loose like a rag doll. Your head's going to be the last thing that comes up. Into Tadasana, or our mountain pose. You can feel our energy, or imagine the energy flowing down our backs. We want to make sure our tailbones are tucked under. Make sure all four corners of our feet have equal weight. We're not rolling in or out like we typically do. And as the energy flows up the front, we want to make sure our thighs are activated so they're lifting up off of our knees, that our tummies are active, our core is engaged. Get our shoulders pressed down and back here. And make sure our neck is in alignment with our body. Chin is slightly lowered. Inhale our hands up. And as we exhale, we're forward fold. And we're going to step back to our tabletop position once again. This is going to be level 1 of our flow. So if this is the level you're comfortable at, you'll keep returning to this. So tabletop, we're going to lower down to our mats with an exhale. You're going to inhale back up to that cobra. Release back down to our mat. Push back through tabletop. And then we're going to come back to downward facing dog. Shifting our weight to our left side. We'll lift that right leg in a 3-legged dog. Imagine a straight line from your wrists up to the heel of your foot. And we're going to pull that knee in towards our chest to give us enough room that we can swing that foot all the way through and come to a low lunge. Knee should be in alignment with our ankle here. We definitely don't want it ahead of it. So make sure that if you need to, you can give your foot a little scooch forward. We should be able to be light on our fingers so we can look forward here. And we're going to drop down onto our back knee, releasing the toes. And we're going to lift up to that crescent lunge. Once you have your balance, lift those arms up. Opening up that left hip flexor. We'll release our hands and shifting our weight to the back leg. Straightening the front, pulling those toes up off our mat. Our nose will come towards our knee in a half split. As we walk our hands back to the front, we're gonna shift that back leg. So pivot that so that we can come up to, we like to call this like the low warrior two, but we're setting up for our gate pose. So both shoulders are relaxed and down, arms are equal. That right leg is straight, but you're on the blade of the inside of your foot, so that we can go down onto our left hand, and our right hand is gonna reach up and over. Now everybody needs to be pulling up with this left side, because even if you're not ready for this next one, we're trying to work towards it. If you want to try, you can go into your side plank. Otherwise, stay in your gate pose, and everybody together is gonna take that right arm, and we're gonna do 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. And if you have your plank, go ahead and release that leg down. Using the side, we're gonna pull back up, and then shift your weight back to the front leg. Left hand stays planted, our right hand will reach up. Right hand comes down. We'll bring the right foot back. And we're gonna go ahead and lower down to our mat. Inhale up to our cobra. Lower down to our mat. Press back to our tabletop. Tuck the toes, lifting back into downward facing dog. Shift your weight to your right foot. Your left foot raises in a 3-legged dog. Pull that knee in towards your chest. And once again, swing that foot all the way through for a low lunge. Look forward. We'll drop that back knee, untuck those toes as we come up to a crescent lunge. Lifting those hands up. Releasing the hands, we're gonna shift our weight to the back. Notice that this leg is perpendicular. We're keeping it straight. We're not gonna go all the way back today. We're keeping there. And our left leg is straight. Toes are pulling up off of your mat as you release the knee, nose towards the knee in a half split. Shifting your weight back to the front so you can pivot that right leg. We're gonna come up to our low warrior two. Right hand will come down to the mat. Left hand is gonna reach up and over. You can stay here and just keep working on pulling that right side, our right obliques in and up. If you want, you can try to straighten that right leg, coming to a side plank. Good job, good job. All right, 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. You can release that right leg back down and lift up and come back to the front. Right hand stays down, left hand reaches up into our spinal twist. Left hand comes down, We'll bring the left foot back, lower down to the earth. Exhale, inhale up to your cobra. Exhale down, back through your tabletop, pressing through downward facing dog. Bend both knees deeply, look to the top of your mat, and you're gonna make your way there. Maybe it's a big jump, a skip, steps, doesn't matter. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up to a flat back. Really try to lengthen that neck. Exhale, back for forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Bring our hands to our heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to a downward facing dog. Shift our weight to our left foot, right foot raises, three-legged dog. Knee to chest. This time our right knee is going to go towards our right wrist. Let that left foot come up as we prepare for pigeon. So rest into that shin, and we're going to lay that left leg down. The more you can get this front shin parallel to the front of the mat, the deeper your stretch will be. Now you get comfortable here though. You want to make sure that this is your pose, this is your posture. You don't have to look like anybody else in this room. I encourage you to just explore the different versions of pigeon. If you want to pull that back leg up, you can see how that feels. If you want to just go ahead and lay forward here, maybe on your forearms, or even reach forward in a reclining pigeon. No, I'm sorry, peaceful pigeon. Whatever feels good tonight, make this yours. Walk our hands back. And we're gonna press back up to a tabletop here. Make our way back to our downward facing dog. Now you can do version 1 of our vinyasa flow where you go to tabletop and lower, or you can do the next level where we lower to a plank, lower to your mat, lifting up. With your inhale to your cobra, exhale back down to your mat. Press through your plank, lift those hips, downward facing dog. Shift your weight to your right foot, lifting that left to a three-legged dog. Draw that knee in towards your chest. Let that knee go, left wrist. Bring that foot over to the hand so you can position yourself for pigeon on this side. And remember, each side is different, so you might feel more comfortable in a different version. So give them a try once again. See what feels good. And walking the hands back, We're gonna press back into the tabletop. And again, you can go into your vinyasa flow from here or lift those hips up to your downward facing dog. And as we lower to first the plank, then to your mat. Inhale up to your cobra. Exhale back to your mat. Press through your plank. Lift those hips, downward facing dog. Bend both knees deeply. Look to the top of your mat and make your way there. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. We'll bring our hands back to our heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to our downward facing dog. Plant our left foot, raise that right leg, three-legged dog. Draw that knee in towards our chest. We're gonna come to a warrior one. So that right foot comes between the hands. Pivot the back foot, so it's a 45-degree angle. And once you have your balance, lift up. Our hips are facing the front of our mat, shoulders. We're going to straighten our front leg. Our hands are going to release as we come into a triangle pose here. Pyramid pose, sorry, pyramid. So you have options with your hands. You can just bring them up to your hips if this feels good for you. You can interlace the hands and just hold opposite elbows. Or, since we've been working on our shoulders, if you want, you can have the palms face and let them come up our back. And we're gonna reach forward with the chest, flat back. And then however far it feels good to go towards that front leg. With control, lift back up, flat back, flat back. Bending that front leg. We're gonna release the arms, coming into a warrior two. Relax the shoulders. Arms should be equal, looking over the front hand. We'll come back into a reverse warrior. Cartwheel our hands down to a low lunge. Left hand stays planted. Right hand lifts into a twist. Right hand will come down, and we're going to do a vinyasa flow if you'd like. Either version. So if you want to come back to a plank, lower down to your mat, lifting up to a cobra or nut dog, pressing through your plank, down to downward facing dog. Shift your weight to your right foot, left foot raises, three-legged dog. Knee to chest, foot goes all the way through, pivot that back foot, warrior one. Straightening the front leg. Find the position for your arms and hands that feel best for you. as we come into our pyramid pose. Forward, over the leg. With control, coming back up. Bending our front knee. Warrior two. Right hand comes down, the left hand reaches up and back, reverse warrior. Cartwheel our hands down to a low lunge. Keep the right hand planted. Left hand reaches up into a last twist. Left hand comes down. And one last vinyasa flow of your choice. Left foot comes back to our plank. Lower to your mat. Lifting up to up dog or cobra. Press through your plank. Downward facing dog. Lowering both knees, we'll come to a tabletop. Pressing into the tops of our feet, we're gonna do a hovering cat. So we're gonna keep the upper body exactly the way it is, just lifting the knees off the mat. So lift up the knees, pressing into the tops of your feet. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Let our hips sink back to our heels. Bring our hands back besides our body. Resting child's pose. And go ahead and sit up from here. And you're gonna make your way to your bottom. So if you wanna swing your feet around. We're gonna cross the left leg over the right. And then we're gonna draw that right leg in towards our bottoms here. So if you wanna keep pulling, we want our backs to be nice and straight. You want both sits bones to be anchored on the earth. So honestly, however your legs look can be up to you. If you have them crossed all the way over, that's great. If you're not feeling that today and you just want them here, that's fine. But just make sure this is in alignment so that we can go into our open cow face. Right now our left leg is on top, so our right hand's gonna reach up and then back. Left hand will reach up our back. See if you can grab those hands. Keep that upper body lifted. Be proud of yourselves. This was a good one. As we release, we're going to draw that right hand in front of us, grab that wrist with the left hand, and pull it across our body. And open up wide. Before we go ahead, and we're going to switch it. So if you want to start from our staff pose, we'll cross the right over. I had to think about it there. And then draw that left leg in. Get those sits bones both down as you position your legs. Right's on top, so left arm goes up, reaches back, right hand reaches up. See if you can touch those fingers. And lift that chest up high. Release the hands and bring that left hand over. Help it with the right. Open wide. And release the legs. Out in front of us here. We're going to roll down to our mats. So hands will come out in front. And as you roll down slowly, you're going to try to keep your feet on your mat the whole time. Tuck that chin and just with control, just breathe. Breathe. Slow. And you can reach up and over. And you can bring your hands to your bellies here. So draw both feet in, our knees are bent. And as soon as you can do that, you feel your lower back start to anchor more onto your mat. You shouldn't be able to put your hand underneath there. It feels nice and solid. We're gonna do some pelvic tilts here to work on strengthening that. So when we release it, I'll exaggerate mine a little bit. When we release it, you can see that you can put your hand under your back. But when you push it down, you're tilting your pelvis so that the lower pelvis is forward. You're pressing that back into the mat. So that is your pelvic tilt. Now, when we're in this position, so everybody have that tilt, then I want you to squeeze your abdomen. And when we do this, we hit muscles that we typically can't get with just a regular crunch or any of our leg lifts. So we can release. And now we're going to tilt and squeeze those muscles. Breathe and release. Tilt, squeeze, and release. And we'll do some toe taps here now to work it out, see how we do with it. So we're going to start by doing our pelvic tilt. Tilt, make sure our core is engaged, and we're going to lift first that right leg. So we're going to try to have the knee in alignment with our hip. Keep that leg parallel to the earth. And that one's not too bad, but this is the harder one. As soon as we engage that left one, you feel your back trying to pull up. Keep it down, keep it engaged. And here is that position. So that pelvic tilt is really important. Now we're going to tap our toe down and up, and then the left and up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and draw the knee into our chest. Give it a little bit of a rock. And both hands will be out to our sides in a big T, keeping those legs glued together. Trying not to use our arms too much. We're going to try to use this core. We're going to let both legs fall together over to the left. Shoulders should stay both anchored to the earth. Now again, core is going to pull those legs up all the way through center and gently over to the right. We'll do one more on each side here. So up through center and over to the left, up through center, over to the right. All right, now up through center, we're just going to go into our gentle supine spinal twist. So as we come over to the left-hand side here, we can relax a little bit more. So that right leg, maybe put that right foot on top of the left thigh, maybe even bring that leg back a little bit. So just get so that your spine feels nice and stretched. That's what we're working on more now instead of our core. Shoulders should still be anchored to the earth. And go ahead and look over that right shoulder if it feels good. If your neck is a little bit too tight today, you can just stay looking straight up. And look to the sky. And we're going to draw those knees back into center, letting them come all the way over to the right side. And we're going to do the same thing. So first, make sure our shoulders are anchored. And then you can position the legs so that they're a little bit more comfortable. Maybe put that left foot on top of the right thigh. And then if it feels good, look over that left shoulder. And we'll bring our legs back through center. And just to make sure we do all of those poses we should do every day, we're going to lift those legs up to the ceiling. And flex and point our feet a few times. And if you want to do some ankle circles, you can do that. Bending both knees, we're going to bring our heels as close to our sits bones as we can make them. Both hands will be down alongside our bodies. And we're going to start with that pelvic tilt, but we're going to lift the pelvis all the way up as we come into a supported bridge. Don't let your feet roll out. Keep them nice and square. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, we'll roll back down to the earth. Tilting your pelvis at the end. And then straightening first one leg and then the other. And we're coming into the Shavasana portion of our practice, which always begins with a body scan. The body scan is important because we go through every single major muscle group trying to imagine or actually physically giving a little squeeze before we relax everything and coming into this final moment of utter stillness and peacefulness. So go ahead and start with your toes. Imagine that relaxation slowly climbing up through your feet and up into your calves. Surrounding your thighs as you just breathe and let go. Release your hands, letting your fingers curl up naturally. And feel that relaxation just seep into your arms. relaxation into your shoulders, releasing any tension up through your neck. And into your jaw, maybe even letting your jaw open up a little bit. And relax the muscles in your face. Imagine all of your stress and tension just leaving your body out of the crown of your head as you come into this last portion of your yoga practice.